How do you instill fear in your enemies without raising your voice, issuing threats, or uttering a single word? True power isn't boisterous. It's a silent, compelling force that leaves others hesitant, doubtful, and apprehensive about the unpredictable. Imagine confronting a formidable predator. It doesn't snarl or pounce. It simply observes, remaining still, silent, and calculating. That stillness alone is more terrifying than any roar. Or consider a chess grandmaster, eyes fixed on the board, their opponent sweating, their mind racing, desperately trying to anticipate the next move, yet seeing nothing. That's the power of being enigmatic. When people can't fathom your thoughts, they fear your potential actions. In this video, we'll explore 7 silent strategies from Stoic philosophy that cultivate an unshakable presence. Master these, and your enemies won't just respect you, they'll dread what you might do next. Let's begin. Number 1. Master your emotions. Let's discuss one of the most effective ways to assert control and inspire fear in your adversaries. Mastering your emotions. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly challenging. When someone pushes your buttons, attempting to provoke a reaction, the natural inclination is to respond with anger, frustration, or defensive behavior. However, displaying anger or frustration reveals weakness. Allowing emotions to dictate your actions grants your enemy the power to unsettle you. They've won the moment they see you lose your composure. True strength, true power, lies in maintaining calm and composure, regardless of their provocations. Nothing unnerves an enemy more than someone they can't provoke. When they try to agitate you and you remain unmoved, it forces them to question their tactics. They're ill-equipped to handle someone emotionally stable, someone impervious to manipulation. Your emotional control becomes your weapon. Your calmness, the thing they fear most. This is where Stoic wisdom shines. Marcus Aurelius stated, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." Consider that for a moment. Strength doesn't stem from shouting, lashing out, or retaliating. It comes from staying calm under pressure, rising above the chaos. Your ability to maintain inner peace when provoked is ultimate power. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Thomas, worked with someone who constantly tried to provoke him. They'd undermine him, make snide remarks, or bait him into arguments. Initially, Thomas reacted, defending himself, trying to prove his point. But he soon realized something. Each reaction gave his opponent the upper hand. So Thomas made a decision: he would no longer engage. The next time this person tried to provoke him, Thomas didn't flinch, didn't argue. He remained calm, composed, and indifferent. The result? The person who once sought to irritate him was left frustrated, unable to unsettle him. And the best part? Over time, this individual stopped trying to provoke Thomas entirely. They couldn't get the reaction they wanted, and it made them uncomfortable. So how do you master your emotions? First, identify your triggers. Understand what sets you off and why. Once you're aware, you can consciously choose not to react. Second, practice deep breathing or mindfulness during tense moments. Focus on remaining calm, preventing you from losing control in the heat of the moment. Finally, understand that emotional control is a form of strength, not weakness. When your actions aren't dictated by emotions, you maintain the upper hand. Ultimately, true strength isn't about volume or anger. True power comes from self-mastery. When you remain calm and composed, nothing and no one can touch you. In a world of noise and chaos, your calmness will make you unstoppable. Number 2, maintain an unshakable presence. Let's discuss the power of maintaining an unwavering presence. There's a type of confidence that demands attention and respect, but it's not the loud, boastful kind that craves validation. It's a quiet, powerful confidence that needs no words to be heard. When you enter a room with this presence, people sense it. They don't need to hear you speak. They know you command respect. This presence is built on self-assurance, devoid of arrogance. The truth is, confidence without arrogance is intimidating. When you know yourself and your value, you don't need constant validation. You simply are. Your energy, posture, and movements all exude strength, calm, and purpose. The way you carry yourself shows you're unafraid to occupy your space in the world. When you stand tall, move deliberately, and command your space without hesitation, people notice. They begin to respect you, not because you demand it, but because they sense you don't need to ask. Your presence alone is sufficient. Here, Stoic wisdom again proves relevant. Lao Tzu said, "Silence is a source of great strength." Think about that. Sometimes, it's not what you say or do, but the quiet confidence of your presence that speaks volumes. Silence doesn't equate to weakness. It signifies control. It means you're so sure of yourself that you don't need to fill the space with unnecessary words or actions. The calm, composed individual who commands a room without raising their voice is the person everyone gravitates towards. That's the true power of maintaining an unshakable presence. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Ethan, was always quiet in social settings. He wasn't the loudest, nor did he seek attention, but there was something about him, a way of carrying himself that instantly commanded respect. His posture was always straight, his movements deliberate, and his presence never felt forced. People naturally quieted down when he joined a conversation, not because he spoke, but because they sensed his confidence. Ethan didn't need to shout to be heard. He simply existed with unwavering confidence, and that was enough. So how do you maintain an unshakable presence? First, stand tall. Your posture significantly impacts how you're perceived. Stand with purpose, shoulders back, head high, no slouching. Second, move deliberately. Every action should be intentional. Moving with purpose demonstrates control over your environment. Finally, embrace silence. Let your presence speak for you. When you stop trying to impress and simply are, people will take notice. Ultimately, true strength doesn't come from words or displays of power. It comes from a quiet confidence that others can't ignore. When you enter a room, let your unshakable presence do the talking. Stand tall, control your space, and watch the world begin to respect you without a single word from you. Number 3, let your actions speak. Let's discuss something often overlooked, letting your actions speak for themselves. In a world of words and empty promises, it's easy to get caught up in talking about what you'll do or plan to achieve. Everyone has grand ideas and aspiration. But the truth is, words are cheap. What truly matters is what you do, not what you say. Your strength, value, and character are revealed through your actions, not your claims. The best way to show who you are is by consistently living your values, not talking about them. When you focus on action, you eliminate the need for self-explanation. Your discipline, resilience, and pursuit of excellence become the loudest things in the room. Actions don't need validation. They are their own proof. When you consistently put in the effort, demonstrating strength through perseverance and focus, the world takes notice. They see the results, not the excuses or promises. And the best part? Your actions speak louder than words ever could. People will respect you not for what you've said, but for what you've done. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. The Stoics believed in the power of action over words. They understood that true character is forged through consistent practice of discipline and resilience. The more you show up and deliver, the more others see your true worth. Words can be manipulated, twisted, and forgotten, but your actions are undeniable proof of who you are. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Jack, constantly talked about his dreams. He shared his goals with everyone, painting a picture of future success. But for months, he took no real steps towards achieving those goals. Then one day, he realized something wasn't being taken seriously. People were tired of hearing about his plans and unimpressed by his words. So Jack made a decision. He would stop talking about what he was going to do and start doing it. Slowly but surely, he put in the work, showing up every day, working consistently, proving his dedication. And guess what? People began to notice. His actions started speaking louder than his words ever had. And success followed. So how do you let your actions speak? First, focus on consistency. Consistent effort in the right direction always leads to progress, no matter how small the steps seem. Second, pursue excellence. Don't just do the bare minimum. Always strive to do your best, and your results will reflect that. Third, build resilience. Life will throw obstacles your way, but the more you endure and push through, the more your strength will shine. Ultimately, what you do matters far more than what you say. Your actions will always prove your strength, discipline, and character. So stop talking about what you'll do, show it, and let your actions speak for themselves. If you found this valuable, like and subscribe for more powerful insights. Number 4. Never overreact to insults. Let's discuss one of the most powerful tools for controlling your emotions and maintaining your dignity: never overreacting to insults. It's easy to get defensive when insulted. The natural reaction is to defend yourself, retaliate, prove them wrong. But here's the truth: responding emotionally empowers your opponent. Every angry or frustrated reaction hands over your peace and allows them to control your feelings. They know exactly which buttons to push because you've shown them your weak spots. But here's the secret: indifference is one of the most powerful responses. When you refuse to overreact, showing no emotional response to an insult, you reclaim your power. Your indifference makes them question their own significance. They wonder why their words don't affect you, why they can't provoke a reaction. In that moment, you've already won. You've taken away their control over your emotions, leaving them powerless. The calmer you remain, the more you show that their opinion means nothing to you. And the best part? It frustrates them because they can't get the reaction they hoped for. This is where Stoic wisdom is key. The Stoics taught us that our emotional state is within our control, not dictated by others' actions. Epictetus, for example, believed that the opinions and actions of others are outside our control, and reacting emotionally only disturbs our peace. It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. When you master your responses, you maintain inner peace and rise above the chaos. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Linda, was constantly insulted by a colleague. This person made sarcastic remarks, undermined her in meetings, and gossiped about her. At first, Linda responded emotionally, defending herself, trying to explain. But each time, it only worsened the situation. Her colleague became emboldened, and the insults continued. Eventually, Linda realized something. Every reaction gave this person control over her emotions. So she changed her approach. The next time an insult came, Linda remained calm and indifferent. She didn't react, didn't defend herself. And you know what happened? Her colleague stopped. The power dynamic shifted, and Linda's calmness left the other person questioning their actions. So how do you avoid overreacting to insults? First, practice self-awareness. When someone insults you, take a moment to breathe and assess the situation. Don't respond immediately. Second, control your emotional response. The moment you allow someone else to trigger you emotionally, you've lost control. Finally, embrace indifference. Not every insult needs a response. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Ultimately, the greatest power lies in remaining unaffected by insults. Don't let someone's words dictate your emotions. Respond with indifference, and watch how quickly they lose their power over you. Number 5. Control what they know about you. Let's discuss a strategic way to protect yourself and maintain control. Controlling what others know about you. In a world where people constantly observe, analyze, and try to figure you out. It's easy to reveal more than you showed your weaknesses, goals, insecurities. The more predictable you are, the easier it becomes for others to manipulate or undermine you. The secret is to maintain an air of mystery and control the information people have access to. When others can't predict your next move, they lose their power to affect you. The truth is, the less predictable you are, the harder it is for others to manipulate or undermine you. If people know exactly how you'll react, what your triggers are, or what you want, they can use that information to their advantage. But when you control what they know, you make it harder for anyone to use your vulnerabilities against you. This doesn't mean being deceptive or dishonest. It means not sharing everything with everyone. By keeping some things to yourself, you protect your peace and ensure no one can manipulate you into uncomfortable decisions. This is where Stoic wisdom is valuable. Sun Tzu said, "Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak." Think about that. True strength lies in controlling the information you reveal. If you're always open and transparent, people know exactly where to strike. But if you withhold some thoughts, plans, and weaknesses, you make it much harder for others to gain the upper hand. By being unpredictable, you become a challenge to anyone trying to manipulate or take advantage of you. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Chris, was always open with his co-workers about his personal life, goals, and struggles. He thought transparency would build trust, but over time, he realized his openness made him vulnerable. His colleagues started taking advantage of the information he shared, using it against him in subtle ways. If he mentioned struggling with a project, they'd use it against him, questioning his abilities or putting more pressure on him. Chris realized that by sharing too much, he'd allowed others to undermine him. So he changed his approach. He stopped revealing everything, keeping his personal struggles and weaknesses to himself. The result? People started respecting him more because they couldn't predict his every move or reaction. They couldn't use his weaknesses against him anymore. So how do you control what others know about you? First, be mindful of what you share. Not everyone needs to know your deepest thoughts or insecurities. Second, embrace mystery. The more unpredictable you are, the less people can use your information against you. Finally, use your strength strategically. Show your strength when needed and appear vulnerable when it helps maintain control. Ultimately, the less others know about you, the more power you have over them. Protect your inner world. Keep some things to yourself, and watch how much harder it becomes for anyone to manipulate or undermine you. Control your narrative and remain unpredictable, because true strength lies in mystery. If you've watched this far, leave a comment and give it a like if you enjoyed the content. Your support means a lot and motivates me to keep creating more interesting videos. I hope you find inspiration in them, and that we continue learning together. Thank you for your support. Number 6, make power moves in silence. Let's discuss a strategic way to protect your success, making power moves in silence. In a world where everyone is quick to announce their plans, goals, and next big move, there's incredible power in keeping your ambitions private. When you share your next steps, you give others a chance to interfere, criticize, or sabotage your progress. But when you work in silence, your actions speak louder than words, and your results are your true testament. The truth is, announcing your next step gives others a chance to stop you. The more you talk about what you're going to do, the more you invite opinions, judgments, and unnecessary distractions. People may offer advice, doubt your abilities, or even act as roadblocks, intentionally or unintentionally. By keeping your ambitions to yourself, you take away their power to influence your path. You become a force that's hard to stop because no one knows what you're doing until the results are undeniable. The less noise you make, the more progress you can make without anyone trying to disrupt your flow. This is where Stoic wisdom applies. Epictetus said, "Do not explain your philosophy. Embody it." In other words, your actions should be the evidence of who you are and what you stand for. You don't need to explain or justify your journey. Let your results do the talking. The more you embody your vision through action, the less you need to say. People will see your commitment, discipline, and resilience in your progress. And when they see the results, they'll understand exactly who you are and what you're capable of. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Emma, always announced her goals and talked about her plans. She'd share every idea, step, and new plan with friends and colleagues. At first, it felt exciting to share her vision. But over time, she realized something. The more she talked, the more obstacles popped up. People would doubt her, give unsolicited advice, or question her choices. Her confidence started to waver as she heard others' opinions. So Emma changed her approach. She stopped announcing her next steps, keeping her goals private and focusing solely on her work. She let her actions speak for themselves. As a result, when she achieved her goals, no one could argue with the success she'd quietly built. So how do you make power moves in silence? First, keep your plans to yourself. Announcing your next step invites unnecessary distractions. Let the results speak for themselves. Second, stay focused. Stop talking about what you're going to do and focus on what you're actually doing. Finally, let your results be your proof. People will see your dedication, progress, and success without you having to say a word. Ultimately, true power comes from what you do, not what you say. By making power moves in silence and letting your results speak for you, you show the world your strength without ever needing to explain it. Keep your ambitions private, and watch how your success becomes the loudest statement you can make. Number 7, be unapologetically yourself. Let's discuss one of the most liberating things you can do, being unapologetically yourself. In a world where people constantly try to fit in, blend in, and seek approval, there's incredible power in standing your ground and embracing who you truly are. When you stop seeking validation and stop pretending to be something you're not, you gain a level of respect and admiration that others can't comprehend. People fear those who don't seek approval. The truth is, when you stop trying to fit in, you become untouchable. When you embrace your authenticity and stop worrying about what others think, you shift the power dynamic. You no longer seek to please or impress anyone, and that itself makes you stand out. The people who truly matter will appreciate your uniqueness, and those who can't handle it will fade away. Either way, you win. By being unapologetically yourself, you stop allowing others to define you. You define yourself, and that's where real strength lies. This is where Stoic wisdom is essential. The Stoics believed in embracing one's true nature and acting in accordance with virtue, regardless of others' opinions. They understood that seeking approval from others is a trap that prevents true peace and independence. When you stop trying to fit in, you stop being a slave to others' opinions. Instead, you begin living in alignment with your own values, creating an unshakable inner freedom. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Jake, was always trying to fit in. He'd adjust his behavior to match those around him, laugh at jokes he didn't find funny, and downplay his achievements to avoid standing out. But over time, Jake felt drained and disconnected. He realized that by constantly seeking approval, he was losing sight of who he really was. So he made a decision. He would stop pretending. He began speaking his mind, standing up for his beliefs, and not caring if others agreed. The moment he stopped seeking approval, something incredible happened. People started respecting him more. They admired his authenticity, confidence, and willingness to stand firm in his beliefs. And the best part? Jake no longer had to hide behind a mask to feel accepted. So how do you become unapologetically yourself? First, identify your core values. Understand what truly matters to you and live in accordance with those principles. Second, embrace your uniqueness. Recognize and celebrate your individual strengths and characteristics. Third, cultivate self-acceptance. Learn to love and accept yourself, flaws and all. Ultimately, true strength lies in being authentic and unafraid to be yourself. Don't seek validation from others. Find it within. Let your actions and choices reflect your true self, and watch as you cultivate an unshakable sense of self and command the respect you deserve. First, prioritize being authentically yourself. Stop seeking external validation. You don't require anyone's approval to be true to who you are. Next, wholeheartedly embrace your individuality. The qualities that set you apart are, in fact, your greatest assets. Don't hesitate to let your unique attributes shine brightly. Lastly, live according to your own personal principles, not the expectations imposed by others. When you begin living authentically, your life will become a true reflection of your inner self, unburdened by limitations. Ultimately, when you cease striving to conform, you free yourself from the constraints of others' expectations. By being unapologetically yourself, you become invincible not through attempts at impression management, but through the empowerment of self-acceptance. Own your identity, and observe how the world begins to acknowledge and respect you for it.